everybody, welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. Today we are talking toys, and more toys. And so, because that's what we like to do here at the channel. If you've never been here before, hey, thanks for stopping by. We're so glad to have you, because this is a place for nerds. And because of that, we like to talk about all kinds of different stuff. We talk about toys and games and movies and TV shows and comic books and more. And my name is Enosh, a.k.a. Enosh Fett. And along with me today is my good friend.
This is Aaron, a.k.a. BaldBeard.
Yes, BaldBeard. Can't you tell? And hey, we're just so glad that you stopped by. If this is your first time, why don't you hit that subscribe button so that you know what's going on here and you join the fun. And then also hit that notifications bell so that you get updates when we do new shows and new videos, all right? Because we want you to know. We don't want you searching around for it. And then also, if you like the video, give us a like. Not because of some, analytic that YouTube wants to do. We just want to know that you like what we're doing here on the channel. Because this channel is for you. Like I said, this is Poindexter's Lounge, a place for nerds, where everybody knows your name.
Absolutely.
That's right. And so today we are talking about toys, because I'm a toy collector. If you're around the channel at all, you'll know that I'm a big toy collector. And Aaron, you're a toy collector, right?
I am.
Yeah, and so today we're going to be talking about a couple of things specifically in just a minute. But first I want to get a little bit of history on you, Aaron. How did you start collecting toys? What got you into that realm?
It first started with Funko Pops. I collected one here and there, and then it turned into a collection and completionist kind of thing. And then I dwindled it down to the ones that I really liked, and then from there it went from Funko Pops to Black Series to a couple Marvel Legends. So it's kind of just whatever catches my eye that I really like.
Yeah, and Aaron, you you collect stuff, you sell stuff. You can find Aaron at toy shows. So if you're in Michigan and you stop by a toy show or something like that, you may just see this guy. So give him a shout out and say hi to him. And then for those of you, we're both a part. Thank you so much for inviting me, but we're a part of a Facebook group called the Syndicate.
Absolutely.
So shout out to the Syndicate out there and to all the other toy collectors. So this is Aaron and me, and so we're just talking toys. So now you started collecting toys. You were collecting Pops. I'm not a real big Pops guy, but I've got a lot of Pops now. My family buys me Pops, and then of course it's like anything, right? I didn't set out to be that guy who had all these toys and everything, but eventually I started finding stuff that I liked. Yeah. Right. And so it kind of goes from there. And I think that's kind of how anybody does it. And so now I've got a bunch of Pops, and now I find Pops that I want. And so because of that, I was planning on doing a little mini documentary about Pops and just how popular they have become in the last couple years. And so because I knew Aaron was a big Pops guy, I asked Aaron to come over and do an interview. And so now we probably need to redo that interview. Probably. Because do you have any of those Pops still?
Not quite. I mean, there might be one or two, but for the most part, they've been cycled out for something else. So yeah.
Yeah. So we got to update that. But so when Aaron came over, he brought over this box, and he said, "Hey, this is for you." And I opened the box, and this beautiful Boba Fett Gentle Giant figure was in there, and man, what a gift to be given. And Aaron, I just want to thank you publicly for bringing that to me, for giving that to me. That this is one of those like grail type of items that like I understand the value of it, and man, it's like I would have a hard time probably buying this for myself because of my I have a family and stuff. I say that in a room full of toys, right? Like I'm very concerned about my family because I don't want to spend too much money on toys now. Yeah, okay. But it would be one of those things that like I probably wouldn't get for myself,
of course.
And I would definitely never expect somebody to give it to me as a gift who wasn't like my grandma or something. But dude, thank you so much.
Of course.
And it's been a nice centerpiece for my room, and everybody who comes over, I'm like, hey, Aaron got me that, and so I really appreciate it. So, but in our conversations, you weren't really a Star Wars guy. I mean, you kind of watched the prequels a little bit, but
yeah, I saw him when I was really little, and one of my friends back in grade school was really like kind of like the setup. He had a bunch of Star Wars stuff, and I was like, that's a little hardcore for me at a young age. And now
Sure.
I'm like, no, he was totally right. So yeah,
I
so
misjudged you.
Yeah, I'm getting into it way late, but I'm definitely appreciating what it is now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's cool. But we watched. I had you come over and we watched the original trilogy.
Yep.
And episode 7, and then we went together to see episode 8.
Yep.
And so because of that, I'm a big Black Series collector. Okay, I collect pretty much anything Star Wars. I collect 3 3/4, but I especially am proud of my Black Series collection.
Yes.
And if you've been around the channel, you'll see I've got a wall of Black Series stuff. So I love the Black Series stuff. It was just ironic because when I first saw it, this is before I was collecting, I looked at it and I said, that's really dumb. You're going to make us buy every figure again? Like, we got all these other figures and stuff. Because I had put away collecting for a while. And I just didn't have the room anymore, and I had to use the space in my house for something else. And so I just remember thinking, $20 for a figure? That's ridiculous. That's crazy. And, and so I just didn't get into it immediately, and now I wish I had, because I remember being in like Meijer and Walmart and stuff and seeing an Anakin Skywalker Black Series figure that now is going for over $100. I mean, I think you were saying earlier, how much are they going for?
The one that I saw was at least 120.
Oh, see, and that just kills, right? But so like something like that, and then there's like different figures, like a Bosk action figure. I mean, is like around 100, you know, and stuff. And I will just say this to anyone watching: hey, if you have a Bosk Black Series figure that you would like me to feature on the show, hey, you can send it to me, and I will give you a shout out. I will tell everybody how wonderful you are, and just how great you are, what a great toy person you are, and how much I love you. Just message me here on YouTube or send it via Twitter. And I will make sure that you get your props. Hey, he got me this, baby.
Yep,
come on.
That's true.
Come on, Bosk figure. Somebody out there. One of our watchers. I know that you love me. All right. And so, anyways, back to being serious. I am serious. Bosk. Okay. So, those Black Series figures, especially those early ones, are just...
really
the
hard.
prices are up there, and they're hard to find and everything. And so, but I've done a pretty good job of backtracking. But you saw my collection.
I did, yeah.
And so... now you kind of blame me for kind of drawing you into the world of Black Series figures.
Yeah, it started. I watched Rogue One, and I really liked the Scarif Troopers. So that was me dipping my toe into it, and then it was, well, now I have to buy 2 of each figure, so I could have one in box, one out of box.
Oh yeah.
And now the Star Wars Black Series figures are like the prominent part of my collection. So yeah,
wow, that's cool.
Definitely,
that's cool. I love getting messages from Aaron. He's like, look what you got me into. Look what I bought now.
look what this entire shelf is now. Yep. Instead of Pops, it's Black Series.
So that's great. But so now you're into Black Series figures, and now you're into something that over the last year or so has kind of become more prevalent in the world of toy collecting, and that is what?
That would be figure photography.
Yeah.
And I just started about a month ago. I'm still pretty amateur. I follow a couple of my buddies on Instagram who do a much better job than I do, but it's something that I wanted to try. I started just about a couple weeks ago, just going out around my house and getting a couple figures and using different plants and trees and trying to set up scenes or just poses that I thought would look nice. And then I took a trip to a local park and tried over there. And while I was over there, I heard some footsteps coming down the trail, and I was waiting to get burned by some kids like, oh, look at this guy posing his figures and all this stuff. But actually, it was a mother and her 2 kids, and one of the little kids piped up and said, wow, look at all those Star Wars figures. And I looked over my shoulder, and then the little girl, the sister, had added to that comment, and she goes, wow, that's really cool what you're doing there. And then she asked if it was okay if I could let her take a picture of my setup. So obviously I'm going to let her, because I didn't think that it would really interest just a normal passerby other than like us collectors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I let her take a picture, and she told me that it was really cool and to keep it up. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Kind of just a different perspective on collecting, and instead of being in a box or on a shelf, kind of taking it outside and seeing what you can come up with.
Yeah. Now I'm showing some. We're going to be showing some of your photos and stuff like that. I really like how you take those figures into an environment that like it's interesting because it looks very like a lot of your pictures that I've seen so far, at least the ones you've taken recently, look a lot like the planet Endor, right? And even though those Scarif troopers are from Rogue One, it's funny because they look like they're in that environment and it looks natural. And what I find amazing is because of the photography and everything. There's some of those pictures that unless you looked and you see the bendable knees, the ball joints, and stuff like that. They almost look like real troopers, like in an environment like that.
Yeah, I try to go for something that would look more realistic, trying to hide the joints or pose them in a way where I feel like it would be more natural.
Yeah.
Except for just the little test shots where I have my setup of the 4 troopers doing the YMCA. So
that's a good one. So what are some of your favorite Black Series figures that you own?
It started, obviously the Scarif Troopers are definitely my favorites. I saw your Boba Fett and I really wanted it, and I figured I wasn't going to get one, and I was afraid of getting like a bootleg. And so I was asking a bunch of people in the syndicate on other Facebook groups what to look for, and then I found one, and then I found another one, luckily around the same price, so I got those, and then I got Darth Maul, because I want to get him signed at a Comic-Con that's coming up here in a couple months. After that, we went out Force Friday, and I got my Thrawn, so I definitely have him that I hold on to. Other than that, the Crimson Trooper in the Entertainment Earth 4-pack, I believe. He definitely caught my eye. So
now you actually gave me 3 of the 4 figures from that 4-pack. And so that's another thing. If anybody has an extra Sand Trooper out there, I still have my box. I'd like to box it all back in. So, hey, if you guys got a Sand Trooper out there, also message me. Hey, you don't get anything unless you ask, right?
Hey, exactly.
And so, but no, I really love that because I love the figures in that 4-pack. I love the droid. I can't remember his name right now. I'm looking right at him from over here, but
R2Q5, I think.
R2Q5 and then the TIE pilot and stuff like that, and that's really cool. I really love being able to talk with other people about collecting toys.
Definitely.
Right? And now you mentioned bootlegs, and bootlegs are one of those things. Like I fell for it, and I felt dumb afterwards, but now I don't really feel that bad. And that is, Darth Maul was one of those figures that were really hard to find. And I remember again in the store. I remember seeing Darth Maul. I remember seeing an R2D2. All those things. And it just bugs me that, they became so hard to get or so expensive. But, so the Darth Maul situation, well known for being bootlegged.
Yeah.
And I found one online, and I was like, right? I remember finding it on eBay and thinking that I had found some great deal on a Darth Maul. And so, I bought it, got it, was happy with it. And then all of a sudden, I remember seeing something about these bootlegs of Darth Maul, and I was like, oh man. And then I looked, and it, for those of you who don't know, Darth Maul bootleg, usually at the bottom of the box looks great, everything looks great. The Darth Maul actually looks really good, and I haven't opened mine, but I know a lot of people open them and they say that they're just fine. They're just not an official figure, but they look just like it. And I think one of the giveaways, there's a couple of giveaways, but one of the giveaways is the binoculars on the bootleg or a certain way, either up or down or whatever. I can't remember which one, which I think is a funny telltale for a bootleg, but it is. And then also the UPC code at the bottom of those boxes, the barcode is a Sand Trooper. Right, and so I remember the day I looked at the bottom of my box and saw a Sand Trooper, and I went, oh man. But you know what the thing is it displays the exact same way.
Oh yeah,
it looks fine. And so so I'm happy with the fact that I just have the figure.
Yeah.
Right. But that's a problem, and and I think, do you think some of that stems from just some of these things being so hard to find?
Yeah, I mean, when I say that I go out and I buy 2 of each, I only buy 2 of each if there's enough available. So I'm not going out searching for all the one case figures or whatever the case may be, and taking that away from other potential collectors. So there's more demand than what's being produced. So you get these bootlegs.
Yeah, it's just it's hard because like where we live, our Walmarts are awful.
Yeah.
Walmarts are just awful. They don't stock stuff that, and then it's weird because then months afterwards, once everybody has gone to the secondary market and gotten everything on eBay and spent like twice the amount, then all of a sudden Walmart's just all of a sudden like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a gush of all these figures that you needed 4 months ago.
Yep.
Right? And that's so frustrating as a collector. And then also, like, Walmart right now has this supposed to have this Stormtrooper that's supposed to be, an exclusive to Walmart. So you can't get that anywhere else but Walmart. And yet none of the Walmarts in our area carry it. They haven't had one. Have you seen one in any of those?
Not yet. I've seen that people are getting them, but they're also from Canada, so just north of us. But no, and I don't really plan on seeing it, so I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah. Because
the stock, whoever does stock for them, either doesn't order it or, like you said, they'll put it out weeks, months after the fact.
Well, and then you have these issues with sometimes the stock people take them and sell them on the aftermarket. And then also you have the situation where, like you said, it's one thing to buy a couple, stuff, but you got people who just walk in and just buy like a whole box. And it's not because they're a collector and they want them for themselves. They want them to flip them. They want to sell those things and sell them for more than, because they know people want them. And I mean, there's nothing we can really do about that, but it is frustrating as a collector, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I will say, how hard do you think it's going to be now, especially with Toys R Us exiting the market?
Yeah.
It doesn't leave us with much, does it?
Not really. I mean, we have Target, Walmart, Amazon, eBay, if you can find it where it's not through the roof.
Our area, we have Meijer in kind of the Midwest.
Yeah, we have Meijer too.
Yeah. Do you see maybe other? I mean, because like GameStop has kind of come along, and they're starting to get more collectibles and more figures, kind of helping the other collectors out, not just strictly video games now. But I mean, even then, the price is a couple bucks more, so you get the people who don't want to pay that extra couple bucks, but they don't have a problem going on eBay and paying twice the amount. So there are other online stores where if you know it's going to be a hard figure to get, you can go buy a case or whatever, buy one just to make sure that you get it. But I think it's kind of sad that you have to do that in order to get what you want. Yeah, I know. But what's also really nice, and I'll say this because we're in the toy section of, no pun intended, toy section of everywhere. But I mentioned the syndicate that we're a part of, and then there's also I'm also a part of a Star Wars Black Series Facebook page that deals strictly in Black Series figures, and also some other pages where they buy and sell and stuff like that, and you become friends with people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've got another friend, Joe Wagner, who also collects and stuff, and we kind of help each other out, right? Yeah. And I think that's great. Like, like you tell me the stuff you're looking for. If I find it, I can pick it up, and we can settle up, or I can give it to you, and same thing, vice versa. And you get a couple friends like that, and that really helps. Yeah. Helps find some of those things.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I'm about with the Boba Fett General Giant figure right here. I knew that it wasn't going to be something that you would necessarily go out and drop all the money on, and I have that sort of expendable cash to the side, so if I see something that someone wants or that someone's looking for, I'll help you out without expecting anything in return. But if I'm looking for something, again, I'm not expecting it, but it's kind of like a give and take, and that's how you make friends, and that's that's what that's the better part of collecting, to me at least.
Yeah.
It's not about going to the store and buying whatever you want. It's the fact that people care enough to help you out, and they're not just in it for themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, hey, I love collecting. Lately, I've been kind of on this G.I. Joe kick.
Yeah.
I used to collect G.I. Joes, and when I was a kid, I actually had more G.I. Joe stuff than I had Star Wars stuff, if you can believe that.
Wow.
But, and I've shared my story a couple of times where I ended up selling, I mean, I had hundreds of figures, and I mean, pretty much everything from about 85 on, and then some of the stuff before that, vehicles, all kinds of stuff. And there was a guy I worked with, and his son got into GI Joes, and this was like early days of eBay and stuff like that. They couldn't find much, and so I ended up selling them all to him for what I thought was like garage sale prices. You know, just get rid of them. You know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I sold it all for $35. That hurts because this Conquest X30 costs more than $35 to just get now, and so that's rough.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I just keep telling myself that some little kid got to enjoy that, and he didn't destroy them. And
yeah.
But hey, you know, we got lots more that we could talk about at Toys, and I'd love to have you back, and we can talk about some more of those things. And hey, if you enjoyed Aaron today and you enjoyed this show about toys, will you please leave a comment down in the comments section? We just want to know that you're watching, that you like, and hey, if you got some ideas for some different things, hey, we'd love to hear about that too. I'd like to talk about sometime like Build-A-Figure parts and stuff like that, different things that toy companies are doing, and we'll get to some of that later on, okay? But for now, like I said, thanks for joining us. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Follow us on Twitter, and hey, keep collecting, man. Keep hunting and having fun, because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You have fun?
Always.
All right, man. All right, so keep hunting, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.